Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video. My name is Isaac and I am on a mission to help people become the best versions of themselves. So this video is for anyone who feels like life is just drifting by with no real meaning, no clear purpose. And in this video I'm going to show you how to exactly take back control over your life and start creating the future you actually want to live. This journey isn't about quick fixes or fake motivation. It's about building something real, something lasting. And that's why I've broken down this masterclass down into 5 powerful principles. A step-by-step guide to help you become who you were truly meant to be. And listen, if you're here right now, you're already one step ahead of most people. You could have been scrolling TikTok, watching Netflix, or wasting another day, but you're here. And here's what I promise. This isn't going to be another fluffy motivational video, I promise. And I'm not here to tell you to wake up at 5 AM and your life will change. I'm just not here to sell you some nonsense hack. What I am here to do is to give you the real blueprint, a blueprint that I have put together myself, a system you can actually use to take back control of your life and start creating the future that you actually want to live. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright, so let's be honest. Right now we're living in one of the hardest times ever to stay disciplined, focused and fulfilled. It's harder than ever before to take control over one's life. Distractions are everywhere. Most people live on TikTok, YouTube or play video games. You get dopamine all day long, but no meaning. And confidence is collapsing. A lot of people don't even trust themselves to follow through. And maybe most importantly, people have no direction, no purpose. They're just drifting. And if you feel any of these, it's not because you're weak. It's because the environment we live in is designed to keep us stuck. But here's the truth. You don't have to live this way. And that is exactly why self-improvement is so powerful. Okay, very quick, before we get into the blueprint, we need to clear something up. Because let's be honest, when you search for self-improvement online, you get hit with a lot of nonsense. Wake up at 5 AM every day, repeat affirmations in the mirror. But listen, none of that will change your life in the long run. Sure, waking up early might help a little bit, and repeating affirmations in the mirror might give you a push for a day or two. But if you don't have a deeper vision and set kind of like this foundation, you will fall right back into the same old patterns. And the truth is simple. Real transformation doesn't come from quick hacks. It comes from building a solid foundation. And that is what this masterclass is all about. Alright, so let's get into what I call the 5 principles for taking back control of your life and start creating the future you actually want to live. Principle 1. Being true to yourself and having a vision. This is the first step, and in my opinion maybe the most important one. So the first question you need to ask yourself is this. Who am I? What do I really want to be? And now let me explain this. Society, your parents, your friends, they all have ideas about what you should become. Maybe your parents want you to be a doctor. Maybe your friends want you to become a lawyer. Maybe everyone around you expects you to be something. But deep down, maybe you want something else. Maybe you want to be a plumber. Maybe you want to be a ballerina dancer, who knows? Or maybe you just want to create music or write books or travel the world. And here's the deal, if you don't follow your heart, if you don't listen to that voice that you have deep inside of you, then you will never truly blossom into your unique self. So Michael Jackson once sang in his song Childhood, "Look within your heart, then ask." And that is exactly what I want you to do. Look within your heart and ask yourself, what do I love doing? What makes me curious? What makes my heart beat faster? Who am I? Who really am I? Now for some of you this might feel difficult, and maybe it's hard to remember. Maybe your childhood feels distant in a way. But if you can, try to go back, because often those early sparks reveal your deepest talents and your God-given gifts. And this is something Robert Greene talks about a lot. He says that if you want to understand yourself, look back at your earliest days and what came naturally to you back then. What passions or little talents did you have before the world told you who to be? Inside those memories, you'll often find the truth about yourself. So really knowing yourself is something you have to take very seriously. I want you to write this down, or at least remember these questions. What kind of person do I truly want to be? If nobody judged me, what would I spend my life doing? What talents or passions have I always had, even as a child? And where do I think that I can really excel? Answer those and you'll start to build your vision of your future. But let me also say this. Maybe you don't know yet. Maybe you don't have like a crystal clear vision of your dream career or life path, and that's completely fine. Then your vision is simply to explore, to try things out, to see what excites you, because there is no deadline here. Self-improvement isn't a race, it's a marathon. And trust me, I'm not even sure if I'm sure right now either. But that's the point. It's okay to not know. The journey itself will give you clarity. As you grow, as you build habits, as you discover new side of yourself, your vision will slowly sharpen. Piece by piece, it will come together. So before we move on to the next principle, remember this. Without vision, and without looking into your heart and asking yourself what you truly want, you will drift around, just following whatever life throws at you. So develop a vision and a clearer understanding of yourself. Because without it, every step you take, every action you make, has no meaning. So the next principle is clarity and choosing direction. So now you have listened to yourself. You have started asking the hard questions, right? Who am I and what do I truly want? But maybe you still feel stuck. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, I don't feel like anything fits me. I don't feel like I have that one passion or calling that everyone keeps talking about. Let me tell you something very important. That's completely fine. Most people don't have perfect clarity from the start. It's called being a human. However, getting clarity doesn't come from sitting still, waiting for a light bolt or inspiration. Clarity comes from movement, from trying, and from exploring. Now, of course, don't throw yourself into things that you already know for sure that doesn't suit you. Take me for an example. I suck at math. So maybe I shouldn't try to become a physician or an accountant, because that's not where my nature lives. That's not aligned with who I am. But apart from the things you know aren't your lane, the rest is kind of open for exploration, right? So if you don't know what job is right for you, test different things, internships, side hustles, small projects, new skills. If you don't know what passion you have, try sports, art, coding, writing, plumbing, whatever. Don't judge yourself for not knowing. All you have to do is explore. Because the worst trap is not choosing wrong. The worst trap is standing still. And here's the key. Every path teaches you something. Even the so-called wrong ones give you skills, experience, and self-knowledge. You learn what excites you and what drains you. And you learn who you are by testing who you are not. So instead of asking, what is the perfect job for me? Ask, what can I try right now that will teach me something about myself? So if you can commit to exploration, clarity will eventually come. Piece by piece and step by step. The more you try, the clearer the patterns become. I promise you. And one day you will look back and realize, oh, that is who I am. So principle 2 is very simple. Stop overthinking, start exploring. Don't wait to find your direction. Create it. And create it by trying, by learning, and by moving. That's how clarity is born. So let's move into principle 3, which is taking the leap and following through. So really, what would it all be for if you never applied any of this in practice? The answer is pretty simple to me at least. It would mean nothing. So you could spend years journaling, visualizing, and dreaming about your future self. But if you don't take action, then nothing changes. Vision without action is just a fantasy. So the second principle is all about taking that leap and having the courage to actually step forward and then following through. So as you see here, it's me on stage a couple of years ago. I was trying to become an artist. I tried that for years, and despite being ridiculed by so many in society, becoming an artist is just something that you shouldn't try doing according to society, because it's a very hard path to take. But I tried. I tried so hard. I really took the leap and followed through. I never became an artist, but for years, I believe maybe 6, 7, or 8 years, I really tried to produce my own songs. I tried and I really pushed through. And this is what we have talked about in the previous steps. You have to try things. And here's also another example of mine. A couple of years ago, I started another YouTube channel. People around me didn't believe in the idea of the channel that I had, but I did. So I took the leap and I followed through. And boom, after a while, I could make a living out of YouTube. So these 2 examples that I just showed you from my personal experience are examples of the different outcomes that could happen from taking the leap and following through. So in the worst case scenario, you will learn something from it. Okay, the artist thing wasn't for me, but I learned something from it. And in the best case scenario, your dreams can come true. They came true for me. I started to make a living from YouTube. So here's what I want you to remember. The first step is always the scariest, right? So let's say that you are a doctor, but now all of a sudden you want to become a plumber. Or you're already running a multi-million-dollar business, but now all of a sudden you want to drop the business because you know that becoming a ballerina dancer will make your life complete. So whatever it is, the first leap towards something will always feel uncomfortable. But that's where all the growth is. You don't grow by staying comfortable. You don't grow by living a life you don't want to live. You grow by stepping into the unknown, by daring to take risks, by doing the thing that scares you the most. Now let me be real with you. Taking the first leap is super important, but taking the leap only once isn't enough. Anyone can start. The real difference is in the showing up again and again and the day after death, even when it feels like the whole world is judging you. That is the hard part. But it really is when you go through all the judgments and the hard times and following through on your vision, that's when you start to move towards your dream destination in life. Now remember what we talked about in the first and second principle. Okay, so now after a while you have started to know yourself better. Maybe you now know a bit more how you want your life to look like. Would it not then be sad if we never gave ourselves the chance of living the life we truly want, just because the whole world is judging us? That would be devastating, right? So therefore, after we have taken the courage to make the first leap, we really have to follow through, even when the judgments of others and the world try to scare us away from it. You have to live through those difficult moments in order to even have a chance of reaching the life that you actually want to have. Alright, so let's move on to principle 4, habits and discipline. So now you have built a vision. You have started exploring to gain clarity, and maybe you even have taken the leap towards the life you actually want. But let's be real, motivation won't carry you forever. That hype you feel at the start, it always fades away. It doesn't matter if it's the gym, a new business. In the beginning you are excited, you feel unstoppable, right? And then life hits. You're tired, you're stressed, people start judging you, or just something else comes up. And that is when most people quit. And this is why habits and discipline are so important. Because it's not about how motivated you are on day 1. It's about what you keep doing on day 100 or day 500. Discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. And habits are what makes your actions automatic. So you don't have to wake up every single morning and fight yourself just to do the right thing. Let me give you an example. Someone decides that they want to get in shape. So week 1, they are on fire. They have bought new shoes and the gym card is ready, right? They crush it. But week 3, they wake up tired. They skip a workout. And the next week, they're busy. And the week after that, it rains or something. So they stay at home. And just like that, they're back at 0. They're back at square 1. Now let's compare that to someone who makes training a habit. That person doesn't ask themselves, do I feel like it today? They just go. It's like brushing your teeth, right? It's not negotiable. It's built into who you are. As you see on the screen right here, it's me a couple of years ago. And back then I was unhappy. I didn't have any purpose. I had bad habits. I was overweight. Life just wasn't good. But through habits and through discipline, I turned myself into, I was about to say a beast. I'm not a beast, but I turned myself into a better man. I started to eat healthy. I started to work out 5 days a week. I started to consume great stuff online. I started to read books. I really built myself up through discipline and habits. So let's say that if you want to get a specific job, spend 1 hour a day accumulating the skill sets you need for that job. Or if you want more focus in life, delete all the apps that waste your time. Or if you want to get in shape, just go to the gym consistently. So what I want you to take away from this 4th principle is that it's not about willpower. Willpower runs out eventually. It's systems, it's discipline, it's habits that lasts. And once you have repeated something long enough, it stops being a struggle. It kind of becomes part of your identity. You just don't go for a run. You are a runner. You are not an aspiring artist. You are an artist. So that is just the power of discipline. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it's the kind of bridge between who you are today and who you want to become tomorrow. In the end of the day, your life is really the sum of your habits. Not what you do once in a while, but what you do over and over again. So if you really want to change for the better, you have to create habits and stay disciplined. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are at the 5th principle, purpose and fulfillment. And this is probably the most important principle of them all. Okay, so we have talked about having a vision and knowing yourself. We have talked about getting clarity. We have talked about taking the leap and building discipline and habits, right? But all of this, all the hard work that you put in, all the change and all the sacrifice, what would it be for? what would it be for if it didn't lead to something deeper? And that's where this last principle comes in, purpose and fulfillment. Because here's the truth. You can have all the money in the world, you can have all the success, all the achievements, and still feel empty inside if you're not connected to a deeper purpose. Fulfillment doesn't come from the external trophies. It comes from living in alignment with who you are and why you're here. Alright, let me share something personal with you. So a couple of years ago I was making YouTube videos and I was doing it consistently. And for a while I was making money from it and I could pay my rent with the money that I was making. For a while it looked like I was on the right path. But deep down I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't creating with purpose. I wasn't making videos that came from the heart. And because of that, eventually I stopped. It didn't matter how many views or how much money I made because there was no deeper meaning attached to it. And without purpose, it's only a matter of time before you burn out, before you give up. And that is why this principle matters so much. Alright, so let me give you another example. So my little brother, he's a chef, right? And he loves it. He truly has a passion for what he's doing. And being a chef is not easy. It's long hours, it's hot kitchens, it's pressure from every angle. But here's the difference. When things get tough, he keeps going. Why? Because deep down, my brother, he's doing something that he loves. And that purpose fuels him through the hard times. And that's the key. Purpose is what makes you resilient. Fulfillment is what makes the struggle worth it. And when you have the both of them, you don't just survive the tough days, you grow from them. So ask yourself, what gives me purpose? What makes me feel fulfilled inside? Not just on the good days, but even when life tests me. Because here's the secret, if you build your life on purpose, you'll always have fuel to keep going. And if you change fulfillment instead of just status or money, you actually enjoy the journey instead of just longing for the destination. And maybe right now, you don't know your exact purpose, and that's fine. Purpose is something you build step by step. It grows as you live, as you try new things out, as you discover more about yourself. So never forget this. The deeper meaning matters more than the surface rewards. Because at the end of the day, fulfillment is not optional. You can fool the world, but you can't fool yourself. One day when you look back on your life, you won't care about how many followers you had or how much money you stacked. What will matter is, did you live true to yourself? Did you follow your purpose? Did you create something meaningful? And did you feel fulfilled along the way? That is the final principle in creating the life that you are truly meant to experience. So ladies and gentlemen, to summarize it all, number 1, vision and being true to yourself. Know who you really are and what you truly want, not what others expect from you. And number 2, clarity in choosing direction. Don't wait for the perfect path. Explore and try until clarity appears. Number 3, taking the leap and following through. Have the courage to act and the discipline to keep going when it gets tough. Number 4, habits and discipline. Motivation fades, but habits and systems make success natural. And lastly, purpose and fulfillment. Without deeper meaning, no achievement will last. Build a life that feels good to live. My name is Isaac Alexi. Thank you so much for watching this video today, and I hope you got some value from it. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.